Hello everyone. Good evening. This is Lena with Especially Made for Me. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to be working on some, I guess it could be classified as a fall bake, fake bake. It's going to be making some ice cream, some fake ice cream. So before I start, I want to ask if you would please do thumbs up, click on that bell so you could be notified of when we're live or doing an upload or premiere. And also subscribe if you haven't already done so. That will definitely help us with the growth of the channel. Share the link to the tutorial or any of the other tutorials, or as many of them as you like to share with your friends and family throughout social media. That would also help us with the growth. And I thank you so much for doing that in advance. So we're going to be, as I mentioned, making some ice cream. So I have some samples here that I want to show you. And I'll switch the camera view here in a second, but I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what they look like once it's all dry, if you don't actually put them on an ice cream cone or in a ice cream cup holder type of thing. So that's what we're going to be working on today. How do we what do ingredients we use, how do we put it together to make it look more real, and what things can we use to dress it up, and all of that good stuff. So we're going to be sharing some tips on all of that as we go through the process. I've already made, since I already have some vanilla ones made, I made a batch of our ice cream, our fake ice cream for strawberry, and we're going to do together the chocolate. Because I've also had some mint, and I already have some already drying out, and I should have brought, I think I have them. No, I don't. I didn't make them. Never mind me. But I'm going to show you basically how I do what I do, and what things I use to kind of make things last if I make a little bit in advance, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to change the camera view as normal, as I do. And if you have any questions while we go through the process, please do write your question on the comments, whether you're here live or maybe watching the replay later. I do check on the comments regularly, so if by chance you're not here live, I can still get to your questions and make sure I answer your questions accordingly. So do put those on the comments. If you're here live, if you're just joining, do let us know if you're where you're watching from, maybe the city or even just the state, your first name if you're comfortable with that. And for those also watching the replay, if you don't mind doing that, if you're leaving me a comment or just to let me know you watched the replay, I would appreciate that. It just makes me feel good to know that there's folks watching from different places and all over. So thank you again in advance for doing that and for interacting with us, whether during the live or while you're watching the replay. So changing camera view, because I want to show you what we use. The first and foremost main ingredient that you will need, it's some light spackling. And the way to tell them apart, in case they should all have lightweight spackling on here, but by chance if you pick up a tub and it looks just like what it is and you don't get to read it, if you can't just lift it without any problem and move it around, it's not light. So let me so that would definitely be a tip for you, because if it's the other spackling that they use for construction, it is very heavy and you will not be able to lift it just like that. So that's definitely one tip. Also, if you use this kind of brand, I actually get mine on through Amazon, and I have it as an automatic ship every so often. There is a link on the bottom on the description that you can use. It's one of my affiliate links. It might get a few pennies for your purchase. That also helps us with the expenses we incur with the channel and things like that. But if you decide to get this, this one I like it because it's actually white, and you'll see here in a second when we use it. The ones that you can get, I think at the dollar store, the Dollar Tree has the small containers, and I think Home Depot carries another brand, but they're not 100% white. It's kind of grayish, so that can affect the color once you start working on what colors you want to use for what. So I'm gonna go ahead. I kind of have it partially open because once you have it snapped in, to make sure it's airtight, it's a little bit difficult to open, so I kind of had it started there. I do like having, if you don't have something with water and some napkins, maybe some forgot what these are called all of a sudden, some wipes, because it already has some lubrication to it, and it helps with If you get anything on yourself, you can, you know, wipe your fingers very easily in your hands, or if you need to clean out any of your tools, that helps with that as well. So we definitely need the spackling, and here it is. It's just nice and bright and white. Okay. You will need a spatula, or if you have a spoon that you don't use in your kitchen, you could use that. I use this one to kind of get my strawberry one started earlier. Once you use you know, any of your kitchen things for doing these kind of things, please don't take it back into the kitchen. Don't use it for cooking, even after you clean it, because there's usually, you know, there may be some chemical residue and all of that, and we definitely don't want to do that. So I use these more often than not, because they are they're actually very easy to use. They're just the right size for me. They sell them at Hobby Lobby. And I think it's like 2 or 3 per packet, and usually they have the 50% sale, so it makes it really convenient and definitely a good value to get it that way. And these are silicone, so it doesn't stick to it. You could just wipe it on off. You don't have to worry about anything. This one is kind of old. You can kind of see the color is coming off. This one I haven't used as much. I basically got them together, and you can see the difference with the coloring. But anywho, but you definitely need a spatula. If you don't have a spatula, you can get these at the dollar store. These are just they're sticks, craft sticks, and with them being wood, you know, just little craft sticks, you can use that for mixing as well. But you have to be careful once you're mixing your lightweight spackle, depending on how, you know, if you're doing the ice cream specifically, because it gets more dense. It could definitely tear on you, but again, I mean, you get a pack of 100 for $1, so no biggie, and then you could just throw them all out and not have to worry about cleaning. So that's another option. So you'll need that, the tools for the spatula or something that you can use for mixing your mix that you're going to use for the ice cream base. You're also going to need some paint. Now there's definitely a lot of options on that, and I think I may have to, I was trying to give you the top view because it might be easier with the top camera to see the names of things, but I like using apple barrel paint. I had started a long time ago with a paint that they have at Hobby Lobby, because I couldn't find the burnt amber in my apple barrel. It seemed like everybody was looking for it, and they were always out every time I went to the store. So I did find it. So in case, just for another option, if you use do a lot of chocolate things, the burnt amber is definitely a good color to go. I do have it in my apple barrel because I like that one better. Seems to be a better value. But either one, as long as it's, you know, the burnt amber, you can go lighter with it, or you can keep it that color if you like doing a lot of dark chocolate stuff. So those are options there. They do have the smaller ones as well in at Walmart and also the dollar store. I would recommend trying Walmart first, because although the dollar store is Dollar Tree, sometimes at Walmart you can get them for less than $1. And they have a lot of variety. So I use my main go-to colors in case you want to write those down. I have the classic caramel, the burnt amber, which is what I mentioned earlier, and they do have it in the small bottle as well. I get a lot of my stuff through Amazon, so you could also use those links for that. There's the milk chocolate, because I do use the milk chocolate as well. And I already have another caramel because I use that caramel a lot. So another option for your paints, and I just use acrylic paints, by the way. You could do, I go to like Home Depot and things like that and let them know what I'm looking for. For like my vanilla, for example, since our lightweight is so white, you know, vanilla to me is not like a straight out white. So I went and I had asked them I needed a vanilla color, so I kind of looked at their cards to see what the color I wanted, especially for when I make like a, you know, to go for like a cheesecake or making the vanilla ice cream. And I was able to get that from them. So you could always get these little containers. They're sample ones, and they're only like $1 or something. They're not even $2. But excuse me, it does last a while, so you could do that. I did that with my vanilla and my pumpkin color, because even though with all the mixing I was doing, I couldn't get the pumpkin color that I wanted. So it helped me to go there and look at their cards, and they helped me with mixing and all that good stuff. So that's definitely another option, to go and do those sample containers when you go. I also did it starting out for the brownie chocolate color, the very dark chocolate. So for pretty much anything that you may want to have a specific color for. They can help with the mixing and all of that, and then from there you can mix your own. Now, that being said, for tools, if you're mixing your own, I definitely would suggest before adding the paint to your spackle to mix it in a cup until you get the desired color that you want. Just kind of keep in mind that once you add the spackle, it's going to get a little bit lighter, but it's always better to go by that caution, to just kind of go a little bit at a time. So definitely good idea to pre-mix if you're not sure. Now once it dries, usually the color that you mix is going to be a little bit darker once you have that spackle mixed in it. So let's see, what else would you need? For ice cream, of course, we're going to need some ice cream scoops. Depending on the size of the scoop that you want to use, you may want to have a couple of these extra ones. Now remember, if you use this for your fake bakes and this type of thing, because of the chemicals and all that, don't use them again in the kitchen. Just have them just for that. I like getting these cups also from the dollar store. They have like a pack of like 8 or 10 of them for $1. So that's another option for doing ice cream, and I'll show you some samples that I finished before. So here's ice cream. So I'm gonna kind of hold it both ways. I'm gonna just put it down, maybe you can see a little bit better there. So these are already pre-made, and once they dry, you can pretty much just do whatever with them. They're not gonna go anywhere. And then you could decide if you want to decorate them, how you want to use them, if you want to put them in a cup and then do all the trimmings. I'll show you one here, like so. So then you could do your chocolate for your fudge and the nuts, the cherry, your whip, all of that. So for making the whip, it's pretty much the light spackle. And you can use some Mod Podge to kind of give it a little bit of a gloss. And you use just a piping thing, just like you're making I think I showed how to do that on one of the other videos for cupcakes, I think. So that's just another option. So then once you have them, which is what we're going to be making next, then you can decide if you want to put them in a cup or if you want to do a ice cream cone, because that's definitely another option, right? And I'll give you another option for where to put them. I have these molds. They come in very handy. They're also silicone, just to kind of give you the shape of the ice cream cone. For these, you actually would have to do ahead of time, at least a day, if not 2 ahead of time. And what I use for that is plaster of Paris, and it has the instructions on it. Just follow the instructions to a T, to mixing it with the water, and as soon as you have it ready mixed, you gotta pour in here and then just let it dry, and you just kind of do all of them. Once it's dry, you would have to paint the ice cream cone, so that way you could have that cone. Normally you can use that, which is why I use this one a lot. The caramel helps with that, so that way you could have that nice ice cream cone color. And then, which we'll be doing here shortly, is your ice cream. Then you will put your ice cream on top of that, or 2 or 3 scoops, depending on how many scoops you want on top of that. So I'll hush for a second, maybe. And turn that off, and we'll get started. So I mentioned I already have the strawberry one made, so I'm gonna just kind of keep that to the side. Let's work on the chocolate so I can show you what we need to do. So these are the smaller ones that they have. I think they have these at Home Depot. I think that's where I got these some time ago. And I just saved the containers because that way I know these containers are my ice cream containers versus my other containers that I use. Let's see, excuse me. I use these from the dollar store, the Ready Cracker containers, to mix my, and I just lost that. Oh my goodness gracious, I just said it a little while ago. My icing, for when I'm doing my icing. So that way I can tell them apart, and I just use the same containers. As long as they're airtight sealed, things stay pretty well on there. Of course, I wouldn't leave them there for a year, but I have a little bit here, and you can tell the difference. It's kind of like a light gray versus getting the other brand that I mentioned. I wanted to make sure I showed you that difference. So it's gonna have like a little tint of gray versus the real white. So this can affect the color as you're mixing. So we are going to go ahead. This is what we need to do our ice cream. We're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe what's on our lid. Let me know if this is not a very good view. I was trying to make sure you can see the overhead view so you can see what I'm doing. So you're just going to grab some of that lightweight spackling, depending on how much ice cream you're going to make, or if you're making the frosting or whatnot. Once you're done, just make sure that your container is fully sealed. Hi, Miss Hyla. Hold on. I want it to dry on me. I'll use the little rubber hammer later just to make sure. But this is pretty much it. Just have your spackle ready, and then we're going to use our paint. So I'm going to actually make chocolates. Since we already have our vanilla one made, and I already have my mix for the strawberry ready for us. I'm going to use some chocolate. So, I don't think I've opened this one yet. I'm going to get, this is the burnt amber. Let's see, do I have any left in this other one? No. I want to open one if I didn't have to. But this is the burnt amber. We go by the name. And this is what I mentioned with regards to a little wet wipe. If you get stuff on you, makes it easier to just wipe it off before it dries. And I'll show you that again. It is from Apple Barrel. So let me get a little bit closer. And then just do a little bit at a time. Doesn't take much, really. Now with that other brand of spackling on the bottom, since it's a light gray, we may need to add some more. But normally doesn't take much. It depends on how dark of a chocolate you want, or if you're doing mixing it with any other colors. So more towards that gray down there. That gray makes a big difference. That's why I stopped using it, but I wanted to make sure I showed you what the difference is between the two. Just takes a bit of mixing. This was actually the most difficult part. It's getting it closer, as close as possible to the color you want. And we want to make it a little bit darker than normal because we're making ice cream. And for making ice cream, what I like to do to give it the texture that we need is to use flour. So that'll be our next ingredient. But we want to get it as close as possible to the color we want, maybe a little bit darker, but always do a little bit at a time, because sometimes for whatever reason the spackle absorbs it very well, and then you might have too much color, and it does dry a little bit darker. And with the flour, once we're added in there, it may lighten it a little bit, so that's why we want to go a little bit darker. So if you don't have if you want ice cream cones and you're not, you don't have your ice cream cones ready, or they haven't dried once you use that plaster of Paris, this is why I have this parchment paper here. Just like adding food color. Yes, pretty much. Just keep adding and adding. Yes, ma'am. Basically, it's all the same process. I was actually doing it for real. You're just using fake stuff to put it together. So that's why I have this parchment paper here, because we're going to actually just drop our ice cream right onto that, because I don't have my ice cream cones ready. And I do want to show you some of the samples that I have behind me as well, so you can get some ideas. But this is just one, you know, when you do it in a cup. And you can get these cups again at the dollar store, the Dollar Tree. And then just dress it up. And to dress it up, like if you're want to do the fudge like I did, I used the same amber, burnt amber as it's called on the bottle for the chocolate. And I just make it a little bit darker by adding some black. And I put them in these containers, which you could also get in a dollar store. And to that I add, where's my Mod Podge? I add some Mod Podge to kind of give it that luster. So you will get the one with the, not the matte, but you get the other one. To give it more of a shine, if you want a little bit more of a shine. And that's what I use for that chocolate swirl on there for the fudge. And I'll show you in a moment what I use for the peanuts as well. I think we're almost there. I think I want it a little bit darker. To look like that yummy chocolate ice cream. I don't know if they have Dairy Queen where you're at, but we have a place called Dairy Queen here, and they have a yummy chocolate. Okay, so this is the color we have right now. I don't know if you can tell I know the color may vary based on that, what is that, the RGA whatever on our screens. So it may not look the same to you. But I'm going to add a little bit more, because I know we got to add our flour in. Just add a little bit and just mix, 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 and add some more until you get your desired color. Kind of making sure I get things from the sides. This is another reason why I like these spatulas, because with the little sticks, if I was doing that with the craft sticks, they can tear easily. Oh, yes, yay, yes. Didn't know they had them way out there. Nice. Alrighty, so I'm thinking, I don't know why I keep wanting to make it darker. It looks like have light milk chocolate right now. Depending on, I don't know how it looks on your side. I'm getting anxious. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And I know it'll dry a little bit darker, but we gotta add that flour in still. Now, if you want your ice cream to look like it's got a swirl to it, once we add the flour and we have the texture that we want, it'll just a matter of adding maybe some of that same pink color towards the end before you're going to do the scooping, and mixing it lightly and then scooping it to make your ice cream shape. So this is just some regular white flour, nothing to it. I have one of those craft sticks in it because when I first started doing this, I was kind of just shaking it over it, and one day I made a big mess. I had a lot of flour with my mix and a lot of flour everywhere else. So I've learned to just kind of use a little stick. You could use, of course, a spoon. Again, just don't use it in your kitchen after that. Just keep it together with your crafting things. And I just pour a little bit at a time. Same thing as I do with the paint, until we get the texture that we want. And you'll be able to tell, because it's going to start getting thicker, and you're going to be able to feel it as you're doing the mixing. And then you're going to start seeing that texture just like we see on regular ice cream. So the flour is what makes it look just like that. Okay. And if by chance you add too much, you could either add a little bit of water, again a little bit at a time, because it does go a long way. Or if you decide it's not dark enough, then you could add some more of your paint, just to kind of dilute it some. But before doing any of that, just make sure that the flour is fully mixed with your lightweight spackle. Yeah, the real baking is pretty much the same. Definitely can be a little messy when you're dealing with doing flour and everything else. But doing this and doing the cupcakes, I have a video on that as well, or those cake pops. Have those on the list as well on the videos. It's actually fun once you start. You'll enjoy it. If you like just doing a little bit of baking in your kitchen and you start doing this, it could, I guess I could say, it could be addicting. I could just continue doing stuff. Alrighty, I think we might need a little bit more flour. It is getting much thicker now. Kind of lift it a little bit. It's not going much of anywhere. And it does have some of the texture already, but depending on how much texture you want, I'm going to try to hold it further to the camera. Excuse me. Then you would need to add more flour. So I like mine to really, really have that texture. So I'm going to add a little bit more. And then we'll see. We might add a little bit more paint. I think we'll be okay to do that chocolate ice cream. See, and I'm actually using the stick and I have flour on the table. It is fun, Miss Hyla. I hope you'll try it. Even maybe to, I don't know if you have the any kiddos that come visit or that are in the home, maybe starting with the cake pops. Those are a lot easier. Maybe that's something that they can do a little bit easier for getting started. And they'll have lots of fun as well. Definitely fun. And what I like about doing these also, Miss Hyla, we can use it for the other crafts that we do, like if you do the wreaths or the big bows with the deco mesh. There's ways to set it up to where you can actually use it as an embellishment to those items. So yes, but hey, no calories, right? Looks edible, but we don't have to worry about calories, do we? Yes, yes. Some more flour on the bottom I'm trying to get to. Make sure it's all mixed. Alrighty, I think we're good. Oh yes, 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 yes. So that you just keep doing until you get, again, that texture that you want, so that once you have your scoop laid out, it'll have that texture, those spots and things. That's what we're looking for. Alrighty, so here's the next step. And again, you could either do it on parchment paper. If you already have a cup that you want to do it on, you could do it directly on your cup and just let them dry. Just kind of lay them out if you want them all the same color, or if you want different colors, then I would definitely lay them out or wait, or just have them all ready and then do your layers as you want to, if you're going to do it on a cup. For today, we're going to be putting them on here. Yes, it's definitely cute. And the main thing with it is for putting it either on a wreath or like a tree, you know, especially for the holidays and things like that. It's just a matter of inserting some wire or some chenille stem on the top of it before it dries. You can make that little hole and let it dry, put some glue on there, and put your wiring, whatever you're using for hanging, if you're going to use it for hanging, and just put it on there on the side or whichever side you want to use it on, and just let it dry, and then you can use it on other things. So what I'm doing here, I just scoop some up just like you would with the ice cream, and I'm just kind of putting some pressure on the top, just grabbing a little bit more and putting some pressure in the middle. That makes some of it come out. Now you could also just kind of put some on the outer edge, so it kind of looks messy coming all the way around. I'm going to put a little bit more on this side and just flatten it out. It's going to push some to the outer rim of your ice cream scooper. Let's see if I can turn it around without making a mess. So that way you'll have some on the edge. Basically, it's what it is. Okay. And what that'll do is it'll push some to the side, so it'll look just like, and just kind of give it a little pressure and then come up. So now you have that to the side to kind of give it that texture, just like where you would at an, oops, you don't see that on the camera. My bad, let me move this over. See the edge? And you could play with it while it's still wet. If you wanted it to look a little different, just kind of move it around while it's still wet. And you'll have that edging that looks just like the ice cream. Let's just do one more on this color, or two. And you can press on it as you're scooping, and that way you'll know that you'll have plenty on the inside of the scoop. And you can squeeze it right on here, so you won't have to do it with the spatula. You just put some extra on, so that when you give it some extra weight, may not be as big if you do it this way, but I want to show you another option. And then just press down on it a little bit, and then start squeezing as you're lifting, and you have your ice cream. So two different ways depending on how much of an edge you want to have on the ice cream, or how big you want your scoop to be. Let's see about doing that again, so I can show you. And we'll do some strawberry ones, and then I'll show you some samples already decorated, because really when it comes to the decorating part, it's all a matter of preference. I like doing this to mine because it kind of gives it a little bit more of that shape. Of course, doing it left-handed doesn't work as well for me because I'm not left-handed, but we get the idea. I just put a little bit extra on the edge all the way around, and that gives me more for when I press down. And that is all there is to it, really. Make sure that you can see that on camera. It looks like ice cream. Yes, yes, yes. So press down and just be moving your scooper, and there it is. So you could imagine doing it on the ice cream cone. Hopefully it'll look just the same, and just kind of lay it on top of on the ice cream cone. You could get bigger scoops or get, you know, we have the smaller ones too out there. So depending on what you're making, you would just adjust the size of your scooper based on that. Alrighty, so we're gonna wipe down some of this chocolate so we can do some strawberry ones, and then I'll show you some samples that I have already decorated, like this other one. Helps to have these handy. Now you could have a container with some water and rinse them out as you go. I just get concerned because I can be kind of clumsy sometimes, and I might dump that water onto everything. So I've started doing this. Normally I may have like a little small cup with just a little bit of water in it, just so I can wet my fingers or something if I get something on, or have a paper towel right under it to kind of, in case that does happen. But I don't like having the bigger containers. It probably doesn't need to be wiped again. I just want to make sure, since we're doing strawberry, we don't have some chocolate mixed in it. I'm just doing a... Alright. Let's do some strawberry. Okay, so here's my strawberry one. And I used, what did I use? The Pink Parfait, which they have it in the small. Let me show you the big one. Oops, Pink Parfait for the color. It's another reason why I like the apple barrel. I like their names. And then I did a little bit of their bright magenta, just to kind of make it a little bit darker. Hi, Miss Monica. Oh, no apologies necessary. No worries. We're just having some fun serving some ice cream. Would you like some? Just gotta know what flavor you like. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing with our strawberry. We're gonna just dip our scoop, dip, to make sure it's nice and full in the middle, in the center, and then just put some pressure on it. And that can make that shape for your outer edge. Just one way of doing that, so you won't have to do it with the spatula like I do. Entirely up to you. Give it a little squeeze to flatten it out. And then just press down so you can see some already coming out on the edges. And then start doing the handle as you slowly lift up. If you see anything you want fixed, you can kind of fix it from there while it's wet. And there you go. Like the pink. Yes, and chocolate. Gotta have some chocolate. Alright, so I'm going to do the other way now so you can see the other way that I like to do it. Again, still doing the same thing, just kind of putting some pressure in there to make sure. I'm going to use the spoon this time. Whoopsie. Where'd it go? Okay. So if you don't press on it down there, you could press on it here. That also makes it come out on the sides. And then just grab some more as you need it, depending on how big you want that edge to be when you lay it on your paper or on your ice cream cone. Or cup if you're making like a sundae. And just kind of judge it by how you can see the edges on the outside when you turn it over. So if you want it bigger, you put a little bit more right on the edge, but above your actual mixture, not on the scoop, not on the scooper. Ice cream scooper. That just sounds kind of funny. Ice cream scooper. One of each. Yes, 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 yes. Maybe we could even add some mint to that. I don't know. All right, so once we have that, our edges are pretty much formed, But it's the same process. Press down a bit and start doing your handle as you slowly start lifting up. Pretty nifty. It's making me want some ice cream. It's the only thing. But like we mentioned earlier, at least there's no calories on this, right? Because we can't eat it. Alrighty. One more for the road. Oh, yes, Neapolitan. I remember doing that. Haven't had that in a while. Oh my goodness. Just brought some memories, Miss Hyla. Alright. How big do we want it to be? Our little edges. Okay, here we go. One more time. Okay, pressing down. And then just loosen your scoop. And that is it. The cleanup, I guess, will be the next thing. Cleaning up. Clean up. All right, so I promised I would show you some that I already have decorated to give you some ideas for when you start this project or decide to do it yourself. I'm gonna just clean this up a little bit so I won't get it on the things I'm gonna be bringing out. Okay, so let's see. I brought the other one earlier, but these are brownies, and I think I made a video tutorial on this. I can't remember, but these are brownies that I made, and then I just did this scoop right on top of the brownie using the fudge. My accent just kicked in. The fudge for the outer to decorate it. I used my icing, my fake icing, to then put the little cherry on top. Now I'll show you a little secret on this. Excuse me. This little cherry, I got it from a floral pick. If you see those floral picks, usually they have them more out for during the holidays. I get a whole bunch of those and save them, because if you cut the little the little hollies out, you can use them for cherries. So that way you're not having to, you know, sometimes you need the bigger one. I do have the bigger ones, which you can get like at Amazon and the different craft stores. So for this one on the Sunday, I use the big one because it is a bigger dessert. But if you're doing something smaller, you can use the floral picks for that. And then I did it in I have the mint, the chocolate and the mint, strawberry, same decor. And then I did a vanilla one with the nuts. It's got the little peanuts or fake peanuts all around it. And I'll show you what the peanuts are, so you can have that too in case you want to use that. So this is put those further up so you can see them. Yep. Okay, I use these as my fake peanuts. It is let's see, you can kind of see it more better that way. It is actually a bedding. Yes, glad you like that idea for the cherries. This is for the bedding, and I think they use it more for, I don't know if it's for bunnies or can't remember, but I think it's bunnies. But you can get a big huge bag for little to nothing, and it lasts for quite a while because you don't use that much for decoration. But that's what I use for my peanuts, for my decorations on my fake bakes. It looks just like it, really, just like chopped peanuts. So you just kind of sprinkle it on. I might have to start putting these on Etsy, like sell them by little baggies or something, because I have so much of it. But that's pretty much it on the decorations with the peanuts. But you can use, let's see, let me go ahead and start closing these so they won't dry out. You can use glitter. If you prefer to just kind of give it a little sparkle, you can use glitter. Let's see. When I don't want to fully dress anything up, I use the very fine let's see, what do they call it? They have a name for it. Yeah, extra fine glitter. You could also sprinkle that over your fake bakes. Gives it an extra oomph. Glad you like them, Miss Hyla. I just thought it was so neat. I mean, it looked like peanuts to me, so why not? Oops. Then you could also use, they sell these at the dollar store in different colors at different seasons, and they're made out of this, it's a very fine paper, almost like aluminum, I guess, but they have them in different colors. So you could also use that for decoration. I mean, there's no rules, you guys. It's really easy. So hey, you know, we just had St. Patrick's. You know, whatever you may want to use for decoration. But they do have them in all sorts of different colors at the dollar store, so you could use that. They have, let's see, I'm trying to reach without making a mess over here, so I have a whole lot of stuff on the other side of the table. These are cute for this time now, for this season, with it being spring and Easter. They sell these at the dollar store as well, and they're styrofoam, but they're very light, and they have them in all the little colors already mixed. They do have them separate as well. I just got the mixed one, so I won't have to deal with mixing it. But if you're gonna need a lot of it, you could always get one of each color and then mix it, and you'll have a lot more. So yes, the little foam balls you could use for the top of the ice cream as well. So that works, because they of course have them in different colors. You can make your own sprinkles. I've made some my own sprinkles as well. I have to do a tutorial on that though, but you can make your own depending on the colors that you want. Yes, definitely the foam balls help. Comes in very handy because you can do so much with the decorations, and they have the little stones as well at the dollar store that you can just sprinkle on, and they stick very well as long as you do it while they're still wet. For additional security, once you start adding things to decorate with, once you have it on and everything dries, you could also use the Mod Podge, which is something I also do. And depending on how much luster you want your fake bake to have, then you would change it. You could use the high gloss or the semi-gloss, or if you want to use just matted because you don't want to add any shine to it, but you want to give it some protection, and also to make things kind of help to stick and not come off. Just show them. Okay. You could also use the matted one, you know, just for over the item, which is what I used. Let me see. I used the matted one on this, the strawberry cake, the fake bake cake. Fake bake, strawberry fake bake. But it's all the same thing. It's just that light spackle without any color. I did add a little bit more white to it. And you just use just like you're decorating a cake, and just go to it. But the Mod Podge, definitely a good thing to have if you're going to be doing fake bakes, because it helps with kind of getting everything set once it's all dry. Or if you have something over it, like the decorations, it helps to kind of keep it all in even more. I like doing my decorations while everything is still kind of wet. That way I can kind of put it on there, let it dry, and then do the Mod Podge. But just some options on things that you can do with this. The light spackle, it's just a matter of what you put in the spackle on. So with these, you wouldn't use the flour when you do your mix, just the paint and the spackle. You can use that, they have it in a tube, I forgot what it's called, Alex something tube, and you can use that as well. I just like using the spackle because I can go either thicker or not. But basically, same process, just without the flour. And then you cover it up and put your match pot on. And I'll try to do some more. I think I have it for this one. I have the tutorial on this one on YouTube. So, same for the cupcakes. How hard? Very hard. Of course, you don't want to like squish it between two heavy things, but they're hard enough to where you don't have to worry too much. I mean, if you drop it, maybe if I was to, I have a tile, all my floor here is tile, so if I was to kind of like slam it, yeah, you might have some chips and different things going on. But it's fairly hard, especially the The one with the flour, for the ice cream, it's, I mean, it kind of hurts a little bit, but not too bad. But yes, it gets very hard. This, because we use foam for that, so maybe the brownie itself may not handle the pressure from being slammed on the floor, it falling onto tile, as well as everything else would. But the cakes, I did the hard styrofoam that you use for floral crafting instead of the soft. I used the soft one, the ones that you would use, that you would normally put in water to do live flowers. That's what I use for the brownie. I just happen to cover all of the ends with my light spackle. But they do get pretty hard. I mean, we don't have to worry about not grabbing it and touching it and lifting it, and you know, doesn't hurt anything. Once it's all dry, you're good to go. Good question. Any other questions? See if I can give you some other ideas while I'm showing things. I don't think you can see these from the camera. Anybody want some shake with their brownie? Another option of little things that we can do with the light spackle and making our own fake frosting. I'll put them over here this way so you can kind of see it that way while I put the other spackle away so it won't dry. Ooh, it's going bye-bye. It's rolling away. Glad you liked it. We'll try to do some more things with fake bake. It had been a while. I was like, you know what? I need to do some more on the channel. But glad you enjoyed of the shakes. I actually had, I think I had mentioned this on one of the other tutorials. I had some of these on display. I was having a get together, and I had gone to the room for something, I can't remember, and I just heard a lot of like a big loud commotion. One of the guests thought it was all real desserts and was going to help himself to some dessert, and got a nice surprise. So I like that they look real, and you can kind of, you know, use them for displays, pictures, and just to dress things up and make things look nice, even though it's, you know, it's not real, but it makes it fun. Cute for decorations too, for different events and things like that. If you do events, you know, props, it helps as well. But all right, I won't keep you. If no other questions, I will go, and just if anything else comes up, just put it on the comments and I will answer any questions you may have later on. And don't forget to share the link with your friends and family through social media, and do thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And until next time, we'll be here on Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And until then, just keep creating all the wonderful, beautiful things. Share with us, tag us on social media, and stay safe, stay liquid. Bye, everyone.